has been around, and like he's an inspiration, and he did the first mass smoking at the first Dead concert.
Square Park with the Grateful Dead.
Thompson Square Park with the Grateful Dead. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend, the myth, the one and only, Mr. Danny Beal. Dana Beal. The original hippie!
Well, actually a yippie. I actually am a yippie. Well, I'm not going to say there was a smoke-in before there was a marijuana, that there was not a marijuana movement before me and Ed Rosenthal in 1967. Because there were people like Allen Ginsberg. But they didn't stick with it. They moved to other issues, like Allen Ginsberg started investigating the CIA dealing heroin, which is really worth investigating. But we are the first ones to open it up to the public, to say everybody from every group is welcome to come into the park and light up a joint in civil disobedience. And when that mass movement started hitting the streets, started hitting the parks, well, then you had the 60s and the 70s. There's a couple of things I remember, though. And there's one that's very important because of Donald Trump, who, of course, is inspired by Joseph McCarthy by way of Roy Cohn. There was a man named Richard Nixon. And Richard Nixon had something called the Southern Strategy, which he wanted to get all the Southerners to vote for the Republicans. And to do this, he came up with a strategy of mass incarceration of black people. And the linchpin of mass incarceration of black people, and Ehrlichman said this, we did it to go after the Black Panthers with claims that the black community was full of heroin, and the anti-war movement on account of marijuana. And the genius, or evil genius, of the Controlled Substances Act was to put marijuana and heroin in the same schedule, Schedule 1. And to this day, there are people like Charles Grassley, the head of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, who believes marijuana is heroin. Heroin is marijuana. Just last spring, the governors in the Northeast said, we can't have legalization because we have a heroin crisis. Well, studies have come out that show not only did all prescriptions drugs go down in marijuana states, but specifically opiate use goes down when you legalize marijuana. This system loves to give people pain pills. They love to give people oxycodone. They love to get you strung out so that you end up doing heroin, and then finally they put you on the ultimate drug, Suboxone, which is a drug that makes you totally addicted and you don't get high at all. But you're stuck on Suboxone for the rest of your life. And that's the kind of drug this system wants. Just last month, they banned something called kratom. How many people are paying attention to kratom? Kratom is like a light opiate for people with chronic pain. It's not a depressant. It doesn't put you to sleep. It's actually a stimulant. But a lot of people turn out not to need oxycodone and hydrocodone. They can do kratom. Just like a lot of people found out after they got addicted by their stupid doctor to oxycodone that all they needed was medical marijuana. So I'm part of a group of people that concentrate on getting people off of opiates, using marijuana, using kratom, using, believe it or not, we found out in Great Britain you can use K2 to get off heroin. It's not the right way to do it, but you can do it. Now I am most proud that back Under Ronald Reagan, when we were cut off behind enemy lines, it was like, you know, the 3 Japanese soldiers that get caught on an island for 10 years after the war, and they don't even know the war is over? Well, there was a small group of us who had a secret weapon. A drug that would wipe out heroin overnight. A drug that regenerates neurons directly through a nerve growth factor called GDNF. So you not only stop heroin withdrawal in half an hour, you permanently resprout dopamine neurons. And this is an amazing thing because it's the only thing that works for crystal meth. It's the only thing that works for crack cocaine, and it's recently been found to be effective in very low doses for Parkinson's disease. So there's other drugs. This drug is ibogaine. Some of you may have heard me talk about it. There's going to be an hour special on Nat Geo showing a treatment, an hour showing a completely medical treatment of somebody for heroin at a somewhat expensive clinic in Mexico. The problem is that rich people, Scott Disick, the guy from Deadliest Catch, the captain for Deadliest Catch, they can fly away to Mexico and drop $10,000 on an ibogaine treatment. But the fucking poor junkie on the Boston streets is damned to hell. And I will not rest, even if I'm losing my voice, because I got a little touch of Hillary-itis. I will not rest until medical marijuana, ibogaine, and kratom, and all the alternative detoxes that are out there are available to every American who needs them. Together, we can turn back the heroin plague through marijuana, through kratom, through ibogaine. So join me. We're going around the country. We have a giant joint up here. It says Hillary Descheduled Cannabis on the hill. We are going to Hempstead, Long Island, next, not tomorrow night, not the next night, but a week from Monday night for the presidential debates, and that joint is going to the second presidential debate in St. Louis. So see if you can come to the presidential debate. Join the giant joint and talk to me if you have a friend who's strung out on heroin or needs ibogaine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Dana Beal. Dana Beal, everyone. One of the original fighters and original advocates. Give him some love. And again, without these people...